Hello, BookTube, from both of us. Isn't that right? Oh, isn't that right? You're such a cute little dog. You are. You're such a cute little dog. Oh, I've got some mail for you. A pile of packages I thought we'd go through, see what we can have here. It looks like it concludes with a box. So let's see what we have that might be of any interest. Some finished copies would be nice. Finished copies are always nice. Let's see what this first one is. Indeed a finished copy. Oh, great. Okay, fantastic. All right, this is a finished copy, and it's good. This is well timed because I haven't read it yet, and I need to. This is the finished copy of Double Blind by Edward St. Aubin, an author I really, really like. We've seen this already. This comes out on June the 1st. It's a beautifully crafted narrative that engages with some of the most pressing questions of our day. Olivia is a London-based biologist specializing in the field of epigenetics who has just entered into a new relationship with Francis, a naturalist who works as a steward of a plot of rewilded land in Sussex. Just as Olivia and Francis's relationship begins, Olivia's old friend Lucy returns after years of living in the United States with a new job working for a science and technology VC firm and a harrowing medical diagnosis that will bond these three principal characters intimately together. So this comes out on the 1st of June, and that means it's long since time for me to read it. I should have read it long since, so I will. This is a novelist I really like. I'll put this aside and read it tonight. This will, as is often the case, we've seen that a mail haul will also become a TBR for me, and this is a perfect example. I have slept on this book. I've waited way too long, so we'll just put that up aside and right on the list there. All right, so this next one, what have we got here? Well, this is very encouraging. All these books are coming with pub sheets tucked in them now. That's fantastic. A little bit too much a pub sheet, but I don't need your mother's bouillabaisse recipe. Let's see what we have here. Okay, this comes out in early June, June 8th. This is Alison Montclair's book, A Rogue's Company, a Sparks and Bainbridge mystery. I think we've already seen this as well. This is a finished copy from Minotaur Books. The in-house enthusiasm for this book has been high, as well as the readers. That's the first line of the pub sheet. The in-house enthusiasm for Alice Montclair's Sparks and Bainbridge mystery series has been high, as well as the readers. As well as that of the readers. The thing that has also been high with the readers is their enthusiasm. The readers have not been high. It's that, as well as that of the readers. Although the whole sentence is better recast, right, as enthusiasm for Alison Montclair's Sparks and Bainbridge mystery series, both in-house and in the reading public, has been high. That avoids the infelicity completely. The Right Sort of Man was a fantastic debut that garnered 2-starred reviews as well as landing on many Best Books of 2019 lists. Last year's second in the series, A Royal Affair, continued the critical acclaim following with only more starred reviews, editor's choices, and more. And this, the third book in the series, is a darkly comedic, formidable story of a woman duo who have to deal with the unexpected new client who might have a hidden agenda. In London of 1946, the Right Sort of Marriage Bureau is getting on its feet and expanding. Miss Iris Sparks and Mrs. Gwendolyn Bainbridge are making a go of it. That is until Lord Bainbridge, the widowed Gwen's father-in-law and legal guardian, returns from a business trip to Africa and threatens to undo everything important to her after sending her 6-year-old son away to a boarding school. And once again, I have an advanced copy of this and I haven't got to it. And this is early June. This is right around the corner. So tonight's TBR has another book on it. I will read both of these. So I wonder if this whole thing will be things that I have to read now or forever hold my peace. Let's see. This next one is not an envelope. It is it's 2 books. It's 2 books. Okay. Let's put that aside and see what we have here. What have we got here? Oh. Okay. YA. We've got new YA. I never get new YA. The first one is by Rachel Lippincott, who is the author of a novel called 5 Feet Apart that I really liked. A YA novel I really liked. This is The Lucky List. A floral design cover. This comes out on June the 1st. God, these are right around the corner. Emily and her mom were always lucky. Every month they'd take her lucky quarter, select lucky card 505, and dominate the heatedly competitive bingo night in their small, quirky town of Huckabee. But Emily's mom's luck ran out 3 years ago when she succumbed to cancer, and nothing has felt right for Emily since. Now, I'm just going to have to watch these videos and determine whether or not it is possible for me to make booktube videos with this kind of background noise. It might be that I just don't want to do it, that I just don't want to be screaming my head off. And there's also an element of deep embarrassment. I'll have to see. I never play my own videos back, but I will play this back and see, but one way or another. And with her best friend away for the summer and her other friends taking her ex's side, the only person she has to talk about it with is her dad's best friend's daughter, Blake, a girl she barely knows. But that's when Emily finds the list, her mom's senior year bucket list, buried in a box in the back of her closet. When Blake suggests that Emily take it on as a challenge, the two set off on a journey to tick each box and help Emily face her fears before everything changes. Okay, well that sounds interesting. I have this author has a good bank account with me, 5 Feet Apart I really like. So that's a YA novel. Don't usually get those. And I got another one too. There were two in the same package. This is by Mary McCoy, and it is Indestructible Object. That is the cover. Gigantic headphones, zombie depressed look, so classic Zillennial. She is going into a bookshop. He has his mask on, and he was in front of a coffee shop. So let's. Oh, this has a pub sheet as well. Fantastic. All right. So, what are we going to learn about this moody sourpuss? For the past 2 years, Lee has been laser focused on two things: her job as a sound tech at a local coffee shop, and her podcast, Artists in Love, which she co-hosts with her boyfriend, Vincent. When Lee and her boyfriend unexpectedly split, the loss of her job and her parents' announcement that they are separating coincide. Lee's plans, her art, and her life are thrown into turmoil. Searching for a new purpose, Lee recruits her old friend Max and new friend Riza to produce a podcast called Objects of Destruction, where they investigate whether love actually exists at all. But the deeper they get into the love stories around them, the more Lee realizes that she's the one who's been holding love at arm's length. And when she starts to fall for Riza, she finds she'll have to be more honest with herself and the people in her life to create a new love story of her own. Funny, romantic, and heartfelt, this is a story about secrets, lies, and friendship, found family, an expired passport, a hidden VHS tape, fried pickles, and the weird, wild city of Memphis, and most of all, love. Okay, great. And Mary McCoy is a writer and a librarian at the Los Angeles Public Library. Good Lord. I wonder if she writes at work. I wonder if she does. Does she strictly separate her work, or does she maybe sometimes get a chance to write at work? That'd be fun to know. So she's a librarian by day and writes by night. I wonder if this is her debut. No, she wrote Dead to Me, Camp So-and-so, and I, Claudia. I've never read any of those. Have any of you read any of those? Dead to Me, Camp So-and-so, and I, Claudia. And then we have this new one by Joyless Sourpuss. About a joyless sourpuss. And then we finally have the box, and then we'll be done. You have far too many Steve videos for today, so we'll finish up with this, and anything else I have to say to you, I can say to you at some other time. I'm not going to tear this open if I can just sort of slide things out of it. I'd rather just slide things out. What we got here? Oh, that's a manifest. I don't need that. What? 2 more books. All right, so we got more packages than we have books. The first one is by Priya Parker, and it's called The Art of Gathering: How We Meet and Why It Matters. The Art of Gathering. 2018, that's what I thought. Why would I get this in the mail? Okay, well, some of you may know this book. It's not new. In The Art of Gathering, Priya Parker argues that the gatherings in our lives are lackluster and unproductive, and that they don't have to be. We rely too much on routine and convention when we should focus on distinctiveness and the people involved. At a time when coming together is more important than ever, Parker sets forth a human-centered approach to gathering that will help everyone create meaningful, memorable experiences, large and small, for work and for play. Drawing on her broad experience as a facilitator of high-powered gatherings around the world, She takes us inside events of all kinds to show what works, what doesn't, and why. Boy, there's an industry that didn't see the end coming, right? Boy, oh boy. What happens to a book like this when a worldwide pandemic happens? I don't know. I wonder how much of this is going to be bittersweet to read. I read about this. I don't think I ever actually read it. Okay. I don't quite know why I'm getting this. This is Riverhead Books. And then what is the... Okay, well, at least the next one is at least partially new. I believe this is a 2021 release. Let's see here. Yeah, this is a 2021 release. This is Tori Peters' book. I've already read it. I read an ebook of it. Detransition Baby. And a lot of you, if you watch BookTube, you've probably heard about this. But let me read it to you anyway. This is the author's debut. Reese almost had it all. A loving relationship with Amy, an apartment in New York City, a job she didn't hate. She had scraped together what previous generations of trans women could only dream of, a life of mundane bourgeois comforts. The only thing missing was a child. And then her girlfriend, Amy, detransitioned and became Ames, and everything fell apart. Now Reese is caught in a destructive pattern, avoiding her loneliness by sleeping with married men. Ames isn't happy either. He thought detransitioning to live as a man would make life easier, but that decision cost him his relationship with Reese, and losing her meant losing his only family. Even though their romance is over, he longs to find a way back to her. When Ames's boss and lover, Katrina, reveals that she's pregnant with his baby, and that she's not sure whether she wants to keep it, Ames wonders if this is a chance he's been waiting for. Could the three of them form some kind of unconventional family and raise the baby together? This provocative debut is about what happens at the emotional, messy, vulnerable corners of womanhood that platitudes and good intentions can't reach. Tori Peters brilliantly and fearlessly navigates the most dangerous taboos about gender, sex, and relationships, gifting us a thrillingly original, witty, and deeply moving novel. I read an electronic copy of this, and not one word of that final paragraph I found to be true. Not original, not a gift, not provocative, and especially where platitudes and good intentions can't reach. There are all sorts of new platitudes, and this book is full of them. Absolutely full of them. It's a debut, so I don't want to be too hard on it. You know, I don't want to knock it all around. But this is mainly not a debut work of fiction. This is mainly a litmus test. I believe that its sole purpose is to render itself critic-proof in the most toxic way possible, not by making itself rarefied or complicated enough so that working critics won't want to touch it because it's too much work for their pay, but by making itself critic-proof by saying anybody who doesn't like it is obviously a transphobe, right? That's I got the strong impression throughout the book that was largely the point, and certainly the origin of the thing, was not to tell a complicated emotional story of an unusual relationship, but to ferret out bigots. I know of a great many book critics who wouldn't touch this thing with a 10-foot pole. And I wonder if the people who create books like this and market them are somehow not aware of the fact that these things are radioactive. And that when you do what a lot of these books do, which is to enlist a social media mob and just put it on pause. All right, hold on. Let's see how X, Y, and Z react to this book. And if I don't like it, then you get the signal and you go and tear them apart. But maybe I won't give the signal. Maybe they'll all do what they're supposed to do. That makes books like this radioactive. And I wonder if authors, or at least agents, don't realize that. That you're immediately ghettoizing yourself when you do something like this. Now, maybe that wasn't the author's intent at all. Maybe the author really just wanted to write the kind of, that's that old dictum, write the stories that you want to see in the world, write what you want to read. Maybe this author did that. One way or another, though, in today's political climate, this thing is as much a litmus test as it is a novel. Where what happens if for instance, motivations of the characters are threadbare or non-existent? What happens if the writing, in terms of imagery and description, is repetitive to the point of being autistic? What happens if those things are true and you're a critic and you say that? then you will be in trouble. A mob will form to tar you as a bigot, not as a bad critic, but on personal terms. A mob will form to try to make sure you never work again. No critic wants to run that risk. So they will either praise this thing, and the author, I don't know how self-aware the author is, but the author will never know the extent to which the reactions to this book were uncoerced. If I were an author of a book like this, a debut work of fiction that I presumably worked hard on, I would be horrified to think that I will never know whether or not the critics who said good things about it actually liked it. One way or another, I don't know why I would be sent this. When the advanced copy is out, I got an advanced e-copy. I never got a finished copy. Maybe that's that, but that doesn't explain the art of gathering. Unless this thing has a new design, maybe this is a new paperback design, although that would say so in the publicity material. I don't really understand it. I don't, but that's all right. So those are our books for today. A somewhat surprising mixture of things. We have Detransition, baby. Then we have The Art of Gathering, which is a relic from a bygone era now, or maybe it won't be anymore. Maybe it's going back to being another book that people can read. But can you imagine encountering The Art of Gathering and reading it in the middle of 2020? You'd be crying the whole time. Then we have Indestructible Object, YA novel, and also The Lucky List by the author of 5 Feet Apart, which I quite liked, so the author has some credit. Then Alison Montclair's A Rogue's Company, which is the third book in this series that I've read. I have enjoyed it. And finally, Double Blind by Edward St. Aubin, the author of the Patrick Melrose novels that were, by and large, good and sometimes brilliant, sometimes really brilliant. So that is, wow, except for the Priya Parker, this is all fiction. That doesn't often happen. What an odd mail haul. Well, anyway, if there's more mail, it could be that more is coming. If there's more mail, then you'll be the first to know about it. I will show it to you. I just discovered I showed you, was it yesterday? They all blur together. Yesterday, I think I showed you the new Norton Critical Tale of Genji that has a blurb by name, by me, on the back cover. And I was talking about how it's my second Norton Critical. The Norton Critical Crime and Punishment also has my name on the back cover. But Tale of Genji I love much more than Crime and Punishment, and it was a thrill to see my name on it. And one of you sent me a screen capture showing me that the Norton Critical, I showed you once upon a time, Norton Critical has the King James Bible in 2 enormous volumes, the New Testament and Apocrypha and the Old Testament. 2 enormous volumes, gigantic number of essays, introductions, notes, critical apparatus, and whatnot. I showed you those 2 big floppy brown trade paperbacks that I got from Norton because I wanted to read them, and they are great. They are an amazing experience. One of you sent me a screen cap showing me that the standard edition, the standard new edition, the new looking version of the New Testament and the Apocrypha, Norton Critical Edition, has my blurb on the back by name. So there's another Norton Critical out there, and if I like Crime and Punishment and I love Tale of Genji, then there are no words for my relationship with the New Testament. So now there's another Norton Critical Edition that I absolutely have to have. I absolutely have to get that. And the person who sent me that picture said, well, you know, I think the person, if publishers aren't going to tell you when you're blurbed on a book, then who knows how many blurbs you have out there, considering how much you review. That's entirely true. Publishers don't tell you at all. You have to just sort of find that out for yourself. My friend Sam is a book critic, same as me. He writes for a big journal, and so do I, on a regular basis. And many's the time when he and I have gone to a new bookstore, the Harvard bookstore in Cambridge, Massachusetts, for instance, and just browsed around the new release table, specifically counting up blurbs to see what we're blurbed on, because you don't know. You don't know ahead of time. And I had no idea that I was blurbed on the actual Norton Critical Edition of New Testament and Apocrypha. And I want it, of course. I want that now. So I need to see if maybe Norton will send it to me. But anyway, that's not going to come in the mail. But other mail may come. So if it does, you'll be the first to know. So I'm going to wrap this up. But I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.